Hello everybody, I'm Rhomur Gaming and this is episode 15 of my StarSector Let's Play for new players. Let's get right into it, shall we? So this episode I think I want to focus on just sorting out my fleet a bit, so I'm going to head back to my colony worlds and then I'd like to continue my exploration and finish off this Estrella Nebula corridor. I'm hoping that maybe I could find some nice new treasure, but I think for now I've got a good fleet to go on for exploring and fighting. I'd like to offload some of the ships, maybe like a couple of the transports perhaps, as it's going to be adversely affecting my fuel capacity or fuel consumption, or both. And well, then once I have acquired a bit more technology and my colonies have developed a bit more, I'll be earning a little bit more income. I can then use that income and hopefully find an administrator as well, and use all that to in turn keep expanding, keep growing, and once the colonies get built enough, like hopefully the heavy industry is finished, I can then start custom producing some starships. So I would like to, one thing I'd like to get is an Odyssey class battle cruiser. That'd be a very nice ship to have. And then maybe a couple of Mora class carriers, get some actual proper carrier ships in the fleet. That'd be very nice to get as well. And perhaps a Dominator as one of the heavier frontline ships, or instead an Apogee. But for now, Odyssey and a couple of Moras, that's going to be my priority to build up. But that's in the future. We have to wait to at least get the industry going before I can build anything. Anyway, I'll cut back to my colony world in a second, and I'll see you guys there. On the way back home, a pirate fleet decided to get in the way, so I think that's a nice little bit of resupplying. I don't mind that. So let's just use our faster ships perhaps to keep up with them. And a couple of ships escaped, but that's not the worst thing. And I'll be happy to take free materials. So the best part about being commissioned now is that every time I blow up pirate fleets, or Lade Path fleets, or pretty much anybody now, thanks to the hegemony being at war with everybody, I get some extra money from that. It's like having a perpetual pirate bounty out in the entire galaxy. And you get the stipend as well, so I am going to be, as they say, loving it. One thing I really wish this game had was an autopilot that took you around the void clouds. It's kind of annoying not being able to do that. Getting caught in a warp storm that catapults you to inside the galaxy is always a fun thing. And home sweet home. I've offloaded the cannons, and one thing I want to offload now is some of my Marines, because these guys, when I put them in storage, I won't have to pay their salary. I'll just sort of sit around waiting for me to come back. And I think I'll keep the extra crew, just in case I take any losses or find any ships I'd like to salvage. And now that we've come back also to all our weapons, we can refit the Eagle class and upgrade it properly to what it should have. So it's got a nice front row of heavy autocannons, which is perfect for taking out shields, tactical lasers for all manner of good combat. It's not actually a point defense, it's actually good for all sorts of targets. And heavy blasters. And this is the equivalent of having like 3 wolf frigates in one ship, combined with all the other weaponry. So I like this ship quite a lot. One of the tactics that has been suggested to me is actually to try and build a fleet of capital ships using torpedo bombers with heavy fighter support, and then like a sort of a screen system of smaller ships. A bit like the way that current navies work nowadays, with carriers being used for heavy attacking, protected by screens of smaller ships. And that's sort of what I would like to try and do. Just at the moment I'm making do with what ships I can find and have, because I can't manufacture anything yet. But my end goal is always to try and get a few capital ships with large torpedo squadrons and heavy fighters to protect them. And then a degree of smaller, lighter ships around that to act as the screen. Large battle cruisers like this one can look pretty, but if you've seen in the combat, like this ship in particular, it's only able to use one side of it at any given time, so I'd only want to have 1 or 2 of these in my fleet, because I think torpedo bombers are really where you get the most firepower from. And whilst I was here, I decided to store the transports I had, as I don't think I'm going to be doing any colonization or planetary invasions at this moment in time. It's not like the Outer Worlds will have anywhere for me to really deploy Marines. There's no pirate bases or planets I'm interested in. one thing, or two things I'm going to do rather, is given I'm going to be exploring, I want to have the cheapest survey costs I can get away with. And that's where this mod comes in handy. So for any ships which are extremely large, for example my battle carrier and battle cruiser, each will reduce the cost of survey by 30 supplies each. So what I'm going to do is for my battle carrier I'm going to get rid of the reinforced bulkheads and just pop in surveying equipment. And then for the rest of the points just dump it into capacitors or something. And I'll perform the same with the battle cruiser as well. And the thing is, these ships are so large I don't expect they'd be destroyed during exploration. And even if they were destroyed, they're being crewed by myself and an officer. So there is, thanks to my skill here, Fleet Logistics level 1, these ships would almost always be recoverable even if they are destroyed, so I don't have to have that reinforced bulkheads on them. The whole points thing is nice, but at that point if your hull is being dug into with these kinds of ships, you're probably being overwhelmed anyway, so for now, surveying equipment is good. I'll pop that stuff off when I go back to the core worlds for a bit more pirating, but for now, it'll be nice to be able to get a lot of survey data. Maybe we can find some nice new worlds that are, how could we say, good for mining. And lastly, just before I get off to the exploration, one thing, there is a downside about being hostile with all the other factions, is it affects your accessibility across all your worlds. So you can see here that because we are at war with practically every other faction, we have a whopping 51% reduction to accessibility. This will also mean that we can't import or export goods to those various nations. They are completely off limits to us, and they might in fact send expeditions to us as part of the war declaration, I guess you could say we have. But being on commission means that there is a very high chance that perhaps the hegemony will just end the war, and at that point we have the hostilities going to an end. And we still get to collect the stipend, which we can then in turn invest into building up the planetary defenses. And even if somebody attacks us, that's not the worst thing. It's quite nice to get a bunch of free salvage or high-tech ships. Especially if we have a combat scenario where we're defending alongside our station. It can be quite fun seeing our own station fighting against the enemy fleet. So, just to let you know, the first system I want to finish off surveying here is Erebus. This is the system which had the warning beacon medium level with all of the fleets inside it. And I think now that we have some stronger ships, it might be interesting to see how much the Remnant are willing to fight us, and if we can get any cool AI cores out of them. Yep, as soon as we arrive, there's a fleet of what looks like 3 drone carriers, as well as assortment of other ships, all of them with AI officers, so this will be an interesting little fight, but I think we can pull it off. We might lose a couple of frigates, but we can re-salvage those, and I'm hoping we get a couple of nice cores out of this, because officer ships, I believe, at least the AI ships which have officers, I believe have a higher chance of dropping an AI core at the end of the combat. So let's see how this goes. So I think given the size of these particular drone ships, I want to throw every combat ship I have at them. Let's do that. Except for the drone ships, our own drone tenders rather. Let's see how this goes. There's no capture points. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's focus on the big ships. flip that to an engage order. Phase frigate. In fact, I'll just engage on everybody at this point. Let's see our new ship. How's this going? That's quite an impressive array of cannons. I wonder why the missile cruiser isn't using all of its missiles. Guessing it's waiting for an opportunity. Not much left. Changes to a full assault order. That was a little bit of overkill. Let's see if we got any eye cores out of that. Oh yes, Alpha Core. Oh yes, that is what I wanted to see. Perfect. So that's already 450,000 in the bank, plus an additional 60,000 for the 2 gamma cores. And we got a lot of other supplies in the process. Very nice. And 2 levels up. Wish every combat was like that. So now what can we pick? I think at this point now I want to focus on getting a couple more officers. I don't need 4 more officers though, I'm not sure if I'll get 4 that quickly. And I'd like to start working on getting a few more colonies in my ability to manage. So level 1 on this colony management won't be useful now, because I'd have to hire the administrators. But level 2 and 3 will be handy, because I usually get up to 4 directly managed colonies pretty quickly. And once you get this skill, for every excess colony that you have that you are not managing, say you have like level 2 and you only have 1 colony, you'll get a +2 stability per extra colony that you are not under control. So you get +4 stability. In this case I got the next level, I would get 2 stability to each of my colonies. If I got the skill up again, I'd get +4 stability to the 2 colonies I have. And then of course that goes down if I get another colony. But for now, I'd like to work on getting colony management up to maximum level, and then maybe officer management up again once I get a couple more officers in the fleet. This will be my next priority, really, is to get the full roster of officers, because they will be the big difference between your ships being average and then being able to just clean house against the enemy fleets, pretty much. In fact, in some circumstances, if you're willing to manage the flow of the officers' payroll, getting the officers up to all 10 of them straight away might be a better priority, because they are all going to be vastly better than, say, any skills you could build for your fleet. Because each of them will have all these combat skills. That makes the ship they're piloting substantially more dangerous. There's a few more things floating around here. I saw a couple of blips. I'm not sure if these are maybe caches or research stations, but I'll take a look and see what I find. You're probably wondering why I'm keeping my transponder on, and that's simply because I want them to come to me. Big fleets like that, I'd rather that they saw me and came towards me as much as possible in this case. And I can always jump away if they are too dangerous for me. Ooh, look, a tanker. What you got for me, buddy? I can recover it if I want to. But I don't think I want to, because it's not in a very good condition. But maybe it has fuel on board. 162 fuel, I'll take that. And just as I was moving around, all of a sudden a group of 3 of them just appears. I salvaged a wreck and they just appeared right next to my ship somehow. I've never had that encounter before, but doesn't matter. We've got nice arrangement of ships to destroy here. And I think this is actually going to be easier than the last engagement, because none of the ships have AI officers. So there's a couple of drone carriers, but I think we'll be able to mop these up pretty easily. I haven't seen this ship before, I think, the drone ship carrier. 2 fighter bays, and nothing to worry about too much. Let's engage and clean them up. Again, for this one I want to deploy all the ships. Put the big targets down first, as well as the carrier. They have some flash bombers, but they're not getting anywhere close enough to do anything. It's satisfying seeing this ship just going bang, 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 bang. Yeah, this is a substantially quicker fight, I think. Officers make that big of a difference to the ships, I think. Those lasers are quite dangerous. I didn't realize that they had that much range to them. Is anybody left? Just you. Okay, perfect. And we lost 50 crew there. Did we lose a ship? Ah, we lost the experimental frigate. I'm not a fan of that scarab. I'd rather have a phase frigate, I think. So let's see. Well, we rescued 14 of them. It's not too bad. So what did we get? No alpha core, but we did get a beta core and 3 gammas. So that's 90k plus another 90k. And all that other supplies is very nice to get. Allows us to keep exploring for longer. And we get a little debris field to finish it off. So let's see what we find. Nothing amazing. And one more time. Again, nothing amazing. So now I'd like to just show off how this colony management works, now that I can level it up. So you'll see on my colony instability it's currently at 8, and there's no extra modifiers here related to administration skills. Whereas if I go to my character and get colony management level 2, and I go back to my colony, now it's stability 10, and you see there the +2 management bonus. So when I get the next level of colony management, that bonus will increase to 4, but the moment I establish a new colony, it'll go down back to +2 again. Came across a debris field which has, for the first time ever, given me 2 large and very good condition ships to salvage. There's a Heron-class strike carrier and a Colossus heavy freighter. I've never seen such a find before. I'm tempted to take them. The carriers, unfortunately, the flight deck is the damaged part, which kind of defeats the purpose of it being a carrier. And the Colossus has compromised storage, which also defeats the purpose of that being a freighter. But it can still be useful. I mean, you see there it's reducing only by 135, so that's not the worst thing in the world. And I would like to have a proper carrier. This one has free fighter base, so this is perfect for our carrier officer, I think. We're going to be under crew strength a bit, so I might need to possibly put one of these, maybe the freighter. Well, this one uses 150 crew, so possibly this. I'll put them both onto skeleton status until I can get back to the colonies. But I'll recover them for now and grab everything else that I can. So this will mean that I won't be able to do a transverse jump if I so wanted to, because both ships' combat readiness is too low. But I'm going to risk it. I think I'll be fine. There's nothing too dangerous in this system, it's only a medium risk. And another drone fleet. One of the more dangerous ones, but this one is even easier than the first one. It's only got 1 drone carrier. So I think let's mop it up and see if we can get ourselves another alpha core. Daddy needs a new planet to colonize. Let's see how dangerous you are, Mr. AI Fleet. Again, it's a little bit of overkill. Possibly I could compromise on some of them. But supplies aren't really my worry. I'd rather just get the combat done quicker, I think. Let's see. Who's going to break off? Tickle, tickle, tickle. Okay, so he's broken off. Order a fire strike on him. Engage on him. Actually, put that to engage. Same for him. I'd rather the bombers worked on the bigger ships here. Still very pretty watching that cannon go to work. And I think I'll just order a full assault at this point. Laser just went straight through him like butter. I could never pilot a phase frigate myself. I'd probably not have the reflexes for that. Treasure time, boys. Also tea time. I always have a cup of tea after this. Ah, perfect. So, no alpha core, but still I am happy with that. That's an additional 90k in the bank, and 60k. And everything else is just an icing on top. Very nice. And 2 more levels, in addition to the bounty. Very nice. So let's salvage. And salvage again. Perfect. So now, let me see. So my planets have stability of 10 and 7, which isn't terrible. I think I probably want to get these 2 points put into... Let's see, I've got planetary operations or industrial planning. Planetary operations is good to protect my planets, but at the moment their defenses aren't the best anyway. It's also good for attacking planets, but I'm not going to be doing that just right now. I think I'll take industrial planning. That +1 unit is particularly effective, especially with the more valuable commodities. And then we go to the worlds and we can see how things are going. So it's still building the heavy industry here. I can't build anything else. I could upgrade the spaceport, or the space station, or the ground defenses, but I don't have enough money. UNATCO HQ, on the other hand, could do with something, so let's see. I don't think I need a way station. I mean, it would be handy to have, possibly as an extra reserve of equipment, but I don't think I'll ever burn through that much supply. Let's see. Patrol HQ is too expensive. Tech mining can be okay, but it also makes the planet more attractive to the Lytic path to attack, so I think I'll hold off on that one until I've got a bit more defenses going. Possibly a defensive station. I'll go for another midline, I think. That way we'll have 2 space stations orbiting each other, and that should be quite enough to protect them, I believe. I hope it calculates that out of system that way. And a little supply cache here, had a couple of blueprints. So we've got a automated repair unit mod, which just reduces the time weapons take to be repaired in combat. This is an okay mod. I would prefer to use this more with ships that have a lot of little cannons, such as, say, converted freighters, because those ships don't have good shields, the weapons tend to get damaged more often. But still, those kinds of ships, I don't know if it'd be better to have something like heavy armor, because it's not going to do very well either way if it's getting shot at. But we'll learn it anyway. And the next one is the Brawler gunship, which is a lovely little ship. It's small, it's got a cannon on the front, lots of smaller guns as well, and this is actually designed to have tritachyon. Oh, so I see, this is actually the tritachyon's version of the ship. I'll be curious to see what that's like. I'll take all of this, and then take a look at the ship itself. Brawler, okay, so what's this like? So it's like the standard ships, except it has a little bit more hull integrity, a smaller sensor profile, and I don't know what the original ship is like exactly off the top of my head, but I believe it uses energy and synergy weapons instead of just standard ballistics. So that's a nice find. I could build a couple of those to add to the fleet later. Okay, so now we've got, actually, another higher damage fleet coming towards us, and a Nexus station. So I'm curious what the status is on this one. I'm hoping it's not the fully powered one, because those stations can really ruin your day. But at least we can take out this fleet and get some more AI cores. Now these fleets look pretty dangerous, but then I actually look at the fighters and it's mostly just spark interceptors. I mean, they've got some flash bombers, a single squadron, but these interceptors are not going to be doing that much threatening wise to our larger ships. Whereas we can blow them up with torpedoes all day long. Let's see how things go. Perfect. Let's just order a full assault and see how things go. That's a lot of fighters, jeez. A full assault was not a good idea. Well, yep, it was not the best idea. Level 19 AI officers, 18, 17, yeah, they're going to be pretty good. Took a bit more losses than I was hoping for. I shouldn't have done that assault command, really. Yeah, things like this I don't want to happen. Jeez. Someone help him. I don't want to lose my brand new Eagle carrier. Eagle cruiser. No. Yes. No. No. Yes. No. Get back. How's this going? Thank goodness the cannons still work. Where's he going? Run away! Here comes Mr. Big Boy. Gone. Yeah, that was not my best decision ever. At this rate, I'm not going to have any crew left. Let's bring them back into the fleet. And we didn't even get anything really that amazing for that. That's a bit of a shame. Actually, let's supply a little bit. Let's dump out some metal. Get the salvage. I'm hoping there's not more of these fleets flying around. Okay, got my level up, and let's get the level 3 industrial planning. Nice to get a little bit of money going. So there, the hegemony ended their conflict with the Luddic Church, which improves our relationship by 40 points. It's still at -10 though, so I don't remember actually attacking the church, so maybe you get a permanent negative reduction always, at least every time these conflicts break out. Still, I'd rather keep that stipend. The hegemony is a nice friend to have. The Luddic Church is not that threatening of an enemy. They're basically a worse version of the Luddic Path, in my opinion. So let's see now how dangerous this Nexus is, because I would like to attack it, but I'm hoping that it doesn't end out too badly. So what have we got? I can't tell if this is the weaker version. Station hangar, 5 platforms, station armor, and a level 10 supercomputer officer. I think we could take that on. Let's give it a try. I like the text here though, it's just like, this is so dangerous. It's beeping angrily. Okay, and we're definitely going to throw everything at this. I had to mothball the 2 salvaged frigates because we're just running too low on crew at this point. Let's see how we can do. Fortunately, there's no other ships, it's just the station and its fighters, so this is a bit of a cleaner fight than normal. And let's set that to an engage order. Ah, wow. Goodbye. Okay. Yes, get as close as you can to the very dangerous station. I don't even know why I have you anymore. Wow. Okay. And there must be a better way to do this, but I believe that I can only do the engage order to make them keep their distance a bit. There we go. Torpedoes time. It doesn't have shields, so they can just keep lasering away at it as well. Well, gonna have to salvage a few more frigates after this, I think. What treasure do you have inside? Oh, wow. At this point, is it even worth it having frigates anymore? Let's recover them. Okay. Oh, but yes, it was definitely worth it. I like that a lot. That's 900,000 credits in the bank. Thank you, Mr. Tritachyon. And I don't think I want anything else, actually. Too much metal as is. And I'm at fuel capacity already. 2 more levels. Debris field. Maybe there'll be something extra in the debris. No, but could always help. I've found things in the past. Let's see, with my 2 levels, what can I pick? Huh, okay. So now, I think... You may notice I'm now level 51. That's because of my maximum level increase mod I'm running. I figured that it's better to let it just keep you leveling. The level rate does increase exponentially as you go, but it's still allowing you to get skills. So you can still enjoy the game without running into a hard wall, as it were. And I think probably... Let's go for coordinated maneuvers. It'd be nice to get a little bit of speed bonuses to our ships in combat. Perfect. So now I'm going to take this haul back to Tritachyon. Well, first I'm going to go back to my homeworld first and get a few more volunteers because all my people keep dying. So I'll head back, resupply, and then head off to Tritachyon space. Hopefully the hegemony won't declare war on them before I get there. And then I can offload all these AI cores for a delicious amount of money. I could put these into perhaps being management for the colonies in particular, but I don't see the purpose. It just creates a lot of problems. I get the Lytic Path attacking me, I get the hegemony attacking me, and the strength increase to the planets isn't really worth it. I prefer to fly around and not have to constantly babysit them. And besides, like, who can say no to an additional over 1 million credits in just, like, that? That 1 million credits can get me a couple more colonies. So, anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and a great weekend. I'll see you in the next video, everybody. Thank you all for watching. Love you all. Peace out.